Hello and welcome for the love of food. Today, it is a beautiful day in North Carolina. It's still February, but we're at the tail end, so we're getting these nice days. But you know what? Poor Nicole. She's up in Boston, and she's shoveling snow. So we're going to make this recipe today just for her. We're going to be making hot cocoa. So what's better on a day like she's having when you've been out shoveling and you come back in and you're so cold, your hands are cold and you just can't seem to get your body warmed? Nothing better than homemade cocoa. So this is for you, Nicole, from your mother. All right, so we're going to be starting with a cup of milk. So we're just going to make 1 cup, right? 1 cup of milk. Of course, we're going to need sugar. So if you're not a fan of sugar or you can't have it, you can substitute just the same way you do anything else. We're going to be using dark cocoa because I think it makes it for a much richer, nicer cocoa. And this is really more adult tasting than a lot of, the light cocoa. And I try to always do everything homemade. You know that. I try my best. I can't always do everything, but given the option to make something from scratch, it makes more sense because it doesn't have preservatives and chemicals and all kinds of things in it. We are also going to need some of my homemade vanilla, right? If you don't have this, you could use the regular vanilla extract you buy from the store, but I've put a recipe online to show you how easy it is to make your own. Why wouldn't you? And we need to put in a little salt to balance out some of the sugar in the cocoa. And then what we're going to do is we can top it with either these wonderful little mini marshmallows, a little bit of whipped cream, or both. So we'll probably just go ahead and do that so that the picture looks wonderful, but certainly it's a preference on which one you like or if you like both. So it's that simple, right? Those are the ingredients. I'm going to be putting this on the beginner section. All you really need to do is start to heat up some of the ingredients and then add in your milk. So we'll start off, and I'll show you in just a second when we get there. We're going to be putting in about 2 tablespoons of milk to start off with, along with our chocolate and our sugar. And then when we know it's just about done, we will add in our milk and our vanilla. All right, great. Thanks for watching For the Love of Food. I'm sorry, Nikki, that it's snowing and miserable there in Boston, but you'll be here soon enough. So I know that you're coming in for the launch of our new food blog, and we'll have wonderful weather by that time, hopefully. All right, thanks everybody else for watching For the Love of Food. Alrighty, so we're getting ready to make our hot chocolate, our hot cocoa here. So in my pan, I've put in just a little bit of that milk, right? So a few tablespoons of that milk, 1 or 2. We're going to drop in our sugar. We're going to put in 3 tablespoons of sugar. I know some of you are cringing right now. We could try 2. Let's try 2 and see if we like it and see if that is enough. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding in as well our cocoa. And so we're going to be adding in couple of 2 to 3 tablespoons or teaspoons, excuse me, of cocoa. So let's put in our, let's do 3. I like it nice and chocolatey. We'll do 3. And then we're going to be adding in some salt as well. So we're going to need a pinch of salt. So let me go ahead and just grab my salt. And I'm going to do what I think is a pinch of sea salt. To me, that's about a pinch. That's more than enough. Now we're going to stir this around and just melt this down. We want the sugar to melt. We don't want the milk to boil. We just want this all to melt and turn into a nice, see how that's turning into like a really nice syrup, and that's what we're looking for. So once that becomes a syrup and all the lumps are out of it, we're going to be able to go ahead, and you can just press it up against the side if you have a lot of lumps in your cocoa, or, we're just going to let that melt up. And then we will add in our milk and our vanilla. So let's go ahead and Just let that cook down. And I'm just pressing that chocolate up against the sides. I'll do it on this side. You can see what I'm doing, my technique. Just making sure that we're getting all those lumps out. It smells delicious. Smells nice and chocolatey. Exactly what we're looking for. All right, I don't want that to boil. I'm going to keep that on low. And now I'm going to start to slowly add in my milk. We're just going to mix it in slow. There we go. Nice. And now we're going to add in our vanilla as well. And we are using about a 1/4 teaspoon of vanilla. I may use a tad more, but we'll see how that goes. And now we'll stir this all together. Scraping up the sides of our bowl, getting all that nice chocolate that was up there. And we're just going to let this heat, but we don't want to bring it to a boil. Now, because I'm using milk and because I'm using the dark chocolate, my chocolate color is a little bit more, notice it's more of a gray color, right? It's still wonderful, it's still good. It's just that because we're using that dark chocolate, it kind of makes the chocolate color a little bit different. So we're just going to heat this until it is to taste. So in other words, we want to make sure that it's not hot enough to burn our tongues, but it's certainly warm enough to drink. And again, you want to keep stirring, and notice I have no lumps. You can see there, all the lumps are gone. And I'm just scraping up the side of my pan, just making sure I got all of the chocolate that I was looking for. Now, if I want, I can give this a little taste and see if it's chocolatey enough. I think that it will be. And if not, well, next time we'll add in a little bit more. Because remember, we wanted to start the chocolate in the bottom of the pan in the beginning, so we don't get those lumps in there. All right, so let's go ahead, and I'm just going to give this a little taste just to see. Oh, and that's plenty of chocolate. So I think this is good. And again, plenty of sugar. If you're somebody who likes it saltier, add more salt. If you're somebody who likes it sweeter, add more sugar. You know what I always say about cooking, that's the joy of it. You can do anything you want. And everything is fun, and everything is an experiment. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid that you're going to mess anything up. Because guess what? It's cocoa. You know, how can you mess it up? Even if it isn't wonderful and it's just okay, people will still think it's great once you throw the marshmallows in it or the whipped cream. So I'm going to go ahead and let this cook until I have a nice white froth on the top. That's going to tell me it's hot enough. And then I'll pour it in my cup and I'll take a photo and show you how that looks. Thanks for watching For the Love of Food.